televiewers, welcome to Prime Hour, the last edition of this week. Today, Friday, the 24th of March 2023, a date that is used across the nation to celebrate the 28th anniversary of the CPDM party. We are going to be discussing that in the course of the program, and we are starting with something else, looking at how to empower ourselves to get ourselves more important for the family, the community, and also meeting the needs of today. That is why we're starting this program with why we need to learn digital marketing. How important is this aspect, and what we need to know, and where to get the best skills to be able to navigate through our different fields from the digital perspective. We are discussing this with two persons who are experts in the domain. Mr. Paul is here with us. He is a co-founder of AFADMA. I don't know, AFADMA is African
Academy of Digital Marketing.
Okay, Africa Academy of Digital Marketing. We are glad to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Mr. Leo. It's been a while. Hello, wonderful audience. I'm happy to be here again today to share a bit of what I know, and of course to learn from your various thoughts, and of course from the great Mr. Leo.
We also are in the company of Lami Godlove, who is the managing director of the Digital Academy, operating out here in the nation's economic capital. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening once more, and good evening, televiewers. I'm happy to be here. It's a pleasure for me to be here and talk about digital marketing, a field which I've been there for over 5 years now.
Okay, you have been in digital marketing field for above 5 years now. Tell me, how important is this domain in Cameroon and in Africa?
Okay, before I will answer your question, permit me to reintroduce myself.
Okay.
Yes, like you've rightly said, I'm Lami Godlove, and I am a web designer. I am a copywriter and also an SEO expert. I obtained a certification from Google in fundamentals of digital marketing, and today I am the managing director of FATMA. And I want to say that in Cameroon, digital marketing as a whole, we want to look at where the attention is going. The attention of everyone is on their devices, and you want to put your business, you want to put your activity where the attention is going, and that is why digital marketing is critical in today's world.
Okay, yes, but how important is it, what they call digital marketing today? Should everybody engage in marketing?
Well, as a business, it is indispensable. Like you see, according to HubSpot, 40% of marketers say that digital marketing is at the center of their business. So which means that if you are not doing digital marketing, you are actually putting your business at a disadvantage. Yes, so that is why you have to develop strategies in order to put your business in the market.
Okay. Yes. How is digital marketing? How is it transforming business today? How differently do we engage in marketing today, away from what obtained 20, 15 years down?
Well, Mr. Leo, 20 years ago we were not talking about the internet. Yes, so the advent of the internet came with a lot of innovations, and people are so much attached to their devices. Just like Mr. Lami said, most people spend the days to go out, always on their devices on various platforms of social media. And as far as marketing is concerned, marketing happens where there's attention. So where there's attention, you position your product or your services so that people, while consulting these platforms, they can be able to come across your services. So 20 years ago, it was the TV, it was the newspaper, it was the radio. But today we have the internet, we have devices. You can be able to relay information using digital tools like we're talking now. I'm very sure that there are people who are watching us on your Facebook page. and your order on your YouTube channel, you are channeling it there. Those who cannot sit at home right now in front of their TVs have access to their devices, and they can actually watch this program. While they are watching the program, business people say, hey, okay, this is where attention is. People are looking at the direction. So if I position my business here, they are going to be able to see it, and of course buy. So it has particular steps that it takes. That's where digital marketing comes into play. You know, in those days it was so easy, so it was pretty, how can I say, it was a bit expensive to do marketing for TV, for radio, for newspaper. But with digital marketing, with $10, you can be able to you know, put your product out there and it is seen. With a data of 100 francs with your phone, you can be able to put your product out there, because nearly everybody who has a phone has access to a community, you know, through their social media handles, be it the people who are viewing your status on a daily basis, be it your friends on your Facebook, be it on LinkedIn, be it on Instagram, or what have you. But now, how can you be able to use that part of it to change it or to monetize it? That's where digital marketing comes in, and that's what we actually teach.
Now, practically speaking, we're talking about digital marketing beating that is shifting paradigm,
yes, from
the past to what we are talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a typical example of somebody who has a quincaillerie out here in Douala and wants to go digital. Somebody who has maybe a shop.
Mm-hmm.
How are we beating the old system with what the digital marketing offers?
Okay, Google has a lot of services to consumers as well as to businesses. For consumers, we already have Google Gmail. We already have other aspects. When it comes to business, you see, as a business like a quincaillerie or maybe a building material shop, it can leverage the Google platform with what we call Google listings. When you do a search on the internet, Google focuses on the intent. What you call the intent. What is the goal behind your search? When you type a word on a web browser, Google focuses on what we call the search intent, which means that if you are searching for building material, let's say zinc, so what Google would give is the search intent. Probably you want to buy zinc from a nearby shop. So there is this listings, what we call, we have a training on that called local SEO, which means SEO stands for search engines optimization. You are optimizing a local business on the internet. If you do a search, you will see all the local businesses, all the building materials shops who have leveraged Google will pop up. You will see their listings will appear on Google Maps, what we call Google Maps. And on Google Maps, you will see those businesses based on how they optimize their listings. And we teach how to optimize listings on Google Maps. So somebody who is wandering somewhere, he doesn't even know the town properly, can leverage Google Maps. I'm sure if you've done a search on Google, you will see what we call local listings. And that is very, very crucial for a local business. A local business can take advantage of that if he knows that feature exists. And it's free, it's not paid, but you need to know how to optimize the listings.
Okay, you need to know this. What you are saying here is high grammar. We are talking about digital marketing. We want everybody to go digital to be able to optimize using little resources, but be able to supply at the widest market possible. To somebody who is watching us, say in Do today, who wants to go digital in marketing, to somebody who is watching us from maybe Kolmesen in Central Region, and who wants to go digital in her marketing, what are you telling the person you can offer to help them reach their target.
This is it, Mr. Leo. You know, with digital marketing, you don't just go on the internet the first day and you start making sales.
Okay.
Yes, you need to build what is called an audience. You need to build what is known as a following. And this has steps, you know, because people buy from those they know, those they like, and those they trust. People don't buy from strangers. Even you, if you are coming on the road and somebody extends a hand to shake, and you look at a person's face and you can't make out the person, you become doubtful. That's the same with the internet. For you to sell through the internet, there has to be some particular steps. I usually call it the 3 I's of content creation, where you must start by, first of all, educating people about your product. You know, constantly coming on your platform, on your handle, and telling people about your product and the benefits that the product is going to give to them, so much so that people get to interact with you, and they see you do that over time. As they get to interact with you over time, they begin to trust you, and then over time, if they have a thought of, you know, consuming that product, the person that is going to come in their mind is you. Why? Because over time you have been telling them that, hey, consuming this particular Irish from salt, for example, is very good, it's very dry because it's done naturally. You know, you give them the health benefits. So the day they want to buy Irish, hey, this lady has always been talking about dry Irish from salt, and she supplies in Douala. She has been telling us that every Saturday she has bags that she supplies in Bonaberi. The day you want to buy Irish, you want to buy from that lady that has been teaching you on how you can be able to choose the kind of Irish that is not going to get rotten quickly in Douala, or when you cook it will be very dry, when you fry it is nutritive, it doesn't take, they don't use fertilizers to farm it and all that. So it's not at a goal that, okay, if you just go on the internet now and you start talking about your business, you are going to start making sales. No, you need to build some trust over time, and when you build that trust, that's when people start relating with you. And it has steps, it has different, you know, different tactics, different strategies that we use, you know, because people want to consume something that they know that somebody is already consuming. People want to consume something that they are sure about, which means that in the other tactics, or when we are doing that, you capture people who are already consuming your product. For example, when we come on My Media Prime and we go back, I use my social media handles and I post there, hey, My Media Prime is a wonderful platform, because when you talk there, you get good feedback. When people know me, when they get to see that, they say, oh, if Mr. Paul is going on My Media Prime and he says that My Media Prime has a good audience, and they get good feedback when they go there to talk about their projects and businesses, people will want to also come to My Media Prime and do their business. So that's the same with you, whosoever, wherever you are. If you have a product and you want to sell it online, usually creating your handles online is free. To have a Facebook account is free. To have YouTube is free. To have LinkedIn, all of that, WhatsApp is free. But now it is your ability to be able to coin the right message or the right information that is going to build that audience that is going to rely on you in the long run, that is going to get you those clients. For example, we have companies today in Cameroon that are running that you rarely see offline offices, you know, that they only use digital tools and they advertise their product. For example, we have taxis in Cameroon that you only see them, they advertise online, and with a click to a link, it takes you to another page. Before you know it, you can order the taxi, and right in front of your house it comes and carry you. That taxi office, maybe the company that run that platform, they don't even have offices, or they don't even own taxis, you understand. But now people subscribe on that, and through digital tools, people can have access to that. You can have rain falling like we had today in Douala, but because your internet is open and you can access those platforms, you can just get it from there, and then you have the services.
Yes, for someone who wants to be a digital marketer, do we need special qualifications, or every person who is into business is advised to become a digital marketer?
Okay, that's a good one. Digital marketing, it depends on your objectives, your goals as a person, as a company. What are your objectives? Where is the attention? Now, if you see that the attention is on the internet, if you see, because if your competitor is probably not doing, is doing something and you are not doing, it means he's ahead of you. He's ahead of you. So, going to the question, if everyone has to learn digital marketing. Am I right?
Yes.
Good. You don't need any qualification whatsoever, like standard qualification. But if you already know, like for every skill you need someone to guide you. For every skill in business, you need someone to guide you. You need someone to orientate. You need someone to show you the how you should do it. So I would say, if you can go to the internet, you have the time and the energy to explore, you can get to learn digital marketing. But that's what we call learning digital marketing the hard way, because you have to search. There is a lot of noise in the internet. If you don't fall in the right information, you don't fall on the right persons, it becomes a challenge. However, if what you want to do is you want to leverage the skills and the expertise of someone who has been there and has done it. So you make it much easier for you. You make it, there's a lot of information on the internet. So
I want to add something to what Mr. Lamy is saying. You know, the essence of everybody is to make money out here, and there are various ways that you can actually make that money. You know, but now, what opportunities does the internet offer? For you to be able to learn digital marketing, you don't need some particular qualifications, just like he says. You just need to know how to read and write. You need a laptop or an Android phone connected to the internet, and you are good to go. But now, what are your objectives? You don't just go learning something because you hear on TV that they need to learn it. Is it like you want to take it as a career path because there's somebody who can take it like a career path, or you want to learn it because you want to enhance your business? Because if, as a business person, all the money you're looking for is in people's pockets, but how do you get this money? You already have these people, but you need to know how to get their money. For example, those you have on your contact list, they are possible consumers of your products or your services. But most people, as I've noticed, they are selling products, but they have never posted even on their WhatsApp status that they are selling that product. But they want people to buy it, yet they have an audience that views their status every day. There are people who want jobs, and they don't post on their WhatsApp status or Facebook that is like this. They are jobless. So it's all about you having objectives and knowing how you can harness the audience that you have. Because the good thing about digitalization is that you can be able to galvanize or to get an audience, for example, and you follow it. Like people who are watching us now on TV, if they don't contact us, we will not know that they are watching us. But with digitalization, if somebody comes and go through and watch your YouTube video, the statistics of that person is gathered. You can actually trace.
So who is a digital marketer? Yes. What do you need as qualification to become a digital marketer?
I already said there's no qualification. There's no somebody to call himself a digital marketer. Yeah. Somebody who has mastered the art of sales and communication, using digital tools. And one basic thing is that you can't actually be a good digital marketer without knowing how to sell offline. Because it's actually what happens online is exactly what happens offline. Because at the end of the day, when you sell to somebody online, the physical aspect always comes. When they buy, they need to be supply. When they contact you, there needs to be communication, there needs to be phone calls, there needs to be text and all the like. If you don't know how to sell, if you don't know how to drive a sales conversation, if you don't know how to close it, you can't sell. We have people running schools who get a lot of students, using social media. Why? Because the platform permits you to target a particular people through the running of ads, Mr. Lamy, where you can actually say you're running these ads and you're asking Facebook to show this particular information just to people who are in Boya, because that's a student area and you have a school there. Or you want the Facebook or Instagram to show this particular post to people who are in Yaoundé or in Bamenda, depending on whatever thing you want to do. And anybody who accesses that that social media platform in those particular areas is going to have access to that information. So it needs you to have a mastery of how these things go by before you can say, okay, this is what I can do, because it doesn't go by you just calling yourself a professional. If somebody say, okay, come and, for example, now I have a company and I'm selling this particular product, you say you can use digital means or internet marketing to sell it, and you can actually you need to produce results that are different, that shows that actually when you say they can sell over the internet is possible. Us, you're just blabbling. So you cannot just say you're a digital marketer when you cannot actually produce results.
Okay, you can't say you are a digital marketer without your capacity to produce results. Let us say this institution exists in Douala.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. How do people get enrolled so that they acquire these skills and knowledge?
Okay. We are currently launching the batch, the April batch, which is already going to kickstart in the month of April. By the end of April, we are going to commence the batch, the 4th batch of our trainees. So you can contact us online. We have our Facebook page, and we also have our social handles, Instagram and LinkedIn. We are also located at Bonasama, Ancien Route, Bonaberry, just after the mairie. So you can contact us on our site. But I want to say that for those who are watching us on Prime TV now, if you are listening to us and me right away, we are offering a 25% discount for the people who are watching us, and that discount is going to last for 24 hours, means it's a day. Just because you have seen us on Prime Media and you think your business needs digital marketing, so we are going to offer a 25% discount, and in that addition to that, you will gain the book From Competition to Dominion, written by Henry Ewane, and also you are going to have a follow-up. We will follow you up till you have results, because what matters are the results. So this is the package we are offering for those who are watching us tonight.
Okay, so those who are watching us who would want to get skills and knowledge on digital marketing, please, you can get to them. They are experts in the domain and they are going to walk you through, especially our youth of today.
Yes.
So many of them are using their phones or the computers, WhatsApping and Facebooking. But why not just spend, what is the duration of the course?
Mr. Liu, the training takes 3 months, and we do it only on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays.
Yes, so why not just take the weekends, 3 months weekends, and get knowledge and skills on how to use your same mobile phones and make good money. This is not something that you're trying. You just you use your mobile phone and you work money from anywhere.
Yes, Mr. Liu, we are living in a digital age, and there are so many opportunities that digitalization has offered. For example, because I have 6,000 WhatsApp contacts and I have an average of 1K views every day on my status, I make money selling on my status. You know, people bring their business to me. Just today, I left the house today about 1 o'clock. It was raining all day. I stayed in the house. But somebody contacted me, and I'm going to be posting on my status the person's product on my status for 1 week, and the person gave me 18,000 francs. And because, as we're talking about digitalization, it's all about attention. So your WhatsApp status becomes a market, because 1,000 people are passing on your WhatsApp status every day. Imagine that you have a shop that 1,000 people are passing there every day. Come rain, come shine, you'll be able to make sales. But the question is, how do you manage to get such numbers? That's where digital marketing comes in. Those are the skills that we teach. How do you get those numbers? And my target to the end of this year is to have 10,000 numbers, and I'm looking forward in the nearest futures. I want to have 25,000 numbers, 50,000 numbers, because the more audience you have as a marketer, the more audience you have, the more database you have, you can use it, you know, You can use it to negotiate deals, because I use now when I want to ask somebody that I can advertise your product on my stages, I can send them just a short video recording my stages, just tapping from one stage to another, and they are seeing that within the 24 hours I've had 800 views, 500 views, 300 views on the various posts. And I tell them, hey, if I put your stuff on my stages, I know the kind of quality people that I have as friends. They are certainly going to consume this kind of product, and that is it's just with a click, and I'm able to make some money. And that's the same with any other social media handle. If you have a lot of following on any social media handle, you use it for marketing of several products. You can become brand ambassador and stuff like that, and you are able to make money just at the comfort of your home with your mobile phone or your laptop.
Okay. So those who would want to meet either Mr. Lami or Mr. Neba, please get to me. I'll get you connected to them for the registration process.
Yes.
And then, but what about those who are not in Douala? Can you study away from Douala?
Yes, Mr. Leo, let me emphasize, the training takes place through Zoom. We use digital means to do the training. It takes place through Zoom and also in our office, so those who want to do offline. So it doesn't depend whether you are in Cameroon or not. We use digital tools to carry out the training. And to emphasize, the fee as announced is 210,000. That's 10,000 is registration, and 200,000 is a fee. Just as Mr. Lami said, if you are watching us right now, we are offering a 25% discount just for 24 hours. Those who are watching us now, it means that instead of 210,000, you pay just 260,000 if you are registering within the next 24 hours. So contact us today, and we are going to drill you through these high income skills.
Okay. So if you would want to try a hand in digital marketing, join the academy that is operating in Douala, but you can study from wherever you are, using either the Zoom or other social media means to get knowledge and becoming the best digital marketer. We are going to be discussing more on this same with these same guys next week on Friday.
Yes,
I'll be expecting you guys here to tell us more about this. And Mr. Nebapo, thank you for coming.
It's always a pleasure to come and talk with you, Mr. Leo.
And also to you, Mr. Lami Golof, thank you. So many persons have written saying that you are their mentor.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, we are going to be moving on with the second phase of our program, discussing the 38th anniversary celebration of the ruling CPDM party in Cameroon, asking ourselves what balance sheet they can present to Cameroonians as they look forward to better days. Many persons think that it has not been all rosy with the CPDM ruling this nation. Meanwhile, militants of the CPDM say a lot has changed since President Paul Biya took over power 1982 and 1985, the 24th of March precisely at the Bamenda Congress Hall. We witnessed the changing of the CNU party to a new political platform that has led this nation for all these years under the chairmanship of His Excellency President Paul Biya. We are looking at that balance sheet this evening with two vibrant Cameroonians, one of the civil society and another of the CPDM party. Representing the CPDM party on this platform is Robert Kedia Malangfe. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening to you, sir. Good evening to my co-panelists. Good evening to all Cameroonians that have taken their time to sit in front of their screen to watch us. A special greetings to the technical advisor of CPDM communicators, Professor Kingsley Ngange, and to all militants of the CPDM all over the national territory and even beyond in our other sections in Europe and America that we've gathered today to celebrate with the head of state as we celebrate a 38 years anniversary of our political party.
We're also in the company of Dr. Ako John Ako, who is an active member of Cameroon's civil society, also lecturer in universities in Cameroon. Good evening, Doctor. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Mr. Leonard. Once more again, we are talking Cameroon, 38 years in the hand of a leadership 41 years in power. And today, Cameroonians and other groups joined the CPDM party to celebrate what they call the greatness, reconstruction, development of an empire that has not instead progressed but regressed. That today, Cameroonians regret ever accepting President Pobia as their leader and again as the leader of the whole nation. Are we really sure? Are they even confident enough to see that 38 years after what they annulled, the Cameroon National Union has today become the CPDM party in another clothing? That the CNU was demolished to create the CPDM, and again in 1990 the multipartism, with hope that Cameroon will be a multi-party state, today represented by the single party just after the ended senatorial election. Economically, politically, Cameroon is in pains, and socially we can't mention that the government continue to violate human rights abuses of Cameroonians that has an interest to make this nation great. Others still lavish in prisons for simply carrying out a civic responsibility of demanding better treatment, some at the level of the airports, some at the roads, some by the water quality, electricity, and others food scarcity, and why not high prices. Others have been taught and given the names blacklegs and others unpatriotic citizens, but we think that the highest crimes of this nation for 40 years after stand against the same governance of rigor and moralization that has crumbled from the very beginning when it was inserted. So why do we celebrate? Why 38 years and not even 60 years? Because it is CNU and CPDM in another clothing.
Okay. Robert, I start with you. You are coming from celebrations, I'm sure, from one section
of course.
in Douala.
There at the Bonaberi with the mayor Mopi.
Yes. What is the CPDM actually celebrating today? 38 years of survival as a political party, or 38 years of changing the lives of Cameroonians under the CPDM?
First of all, was a political party. We all know that the objective of any political party is to get power and stay with power as long as possible, and that is what the CPDM is doing. And furthermore, to talk about the impact of this party to citizens of Cameroon. I was just surprised when my co-panelist was talking about pain of how many years, but I would like him to know the political progress that the CPDM has brought. You know, when President Paul Biya came to power, we had a very centralized system where everything was done in Yaoundé, depending on the whims and caprices of the then former president Amadou Ahidjo. But President Paul Biya came and decided that the government should be closer to the people, and decided to move from a centralized government to a decentralized government where people can participate actively in the management of their country. Then how then can we say there is no political progress? We now have all the institutions that has to do with decentralization. The regional house, of course, we revendicated that we wanted the House of Chiefs, because during the indirect rule of the British over southern Cameroon before independence, we had the House of Chiefs that administered us, and today the House of Chiefs have been put in place. We have the regional assembly that are there, we have the councillors that are also there, and now we have the Senate, which are indeed the representative of elected official of each region, what we call collective decentralization. And this political institution have been put in place. Of course, we remember with the one-party system that was put in place in 1966 in Cameroon, but today we are counting more than 360 something political party. This simply means that it is a liberation or liberalism of political ideologies. Now in Cameroon we have over 360 ideologies, which we all welcome in the development of our country. We will not say we are dictators at the level of CPDM. No, we give opinions to others to bring in their political ideology, their political opinion, how we can build our nation together. Yes, it is also true that when we talk, my co-panelists talk about being a single party system at the Senate. Of course, what is democracy? Democracy simply means that people coming together, doing campaign for their opinion, and the outcome of the election is what determine. If 13 political parties can come in, they have the election, and the result comes at 100%. That is the probability of any democratic election. It can come out 100%, it can come out 0%, it can come out 20%, it can come out 90%. Those are the probability of democratic elections. So I don't see that as being a problem, but instead being a way for us to caution our political parties of the opposition to be able to manage themselves, how they can face an election. When we talk about 13 political parties and one sweep everything and the other 12 they have been remain without any seat, then they should at least manage their competence, check why they have failed, organize themselves, and to be able to survive. I hear many political parties, politicians and people of the civil society telling the opposition that they can form a coalition, but President Paul Biya have been in power because he has been forming coalition. We all know how it happens in the 90s and early 2000s.
Are we celebrating President Paul Biya here, or we are celebrating the party?
Of course, we can't talk about the father without talking. We can't talk about the son without talking about the party. President Paul Biya is the party, and when we talk about the party, it's our natural candidate. At all the time, we talk about him because it is his ideology that today we are celebrating with the collective ideology of other militants of the party.
So today, the celebration was the President of the Republic.
Today, the celebration was the achievement of the CPDM with its head, President Paul Biya.
Okay, but you've said very little about the collaborators and other persons who are working within other structures of the party to help.
As I earlier talked, I talked about the councillor, I talked about the House of Chief, which are all militants of the party. We all know about our vice president, who is of late that traveled the fund, and we all have the Secretary General Jean Kwete. We all know about Gregoire Awudu, the Deputy Secretary General, and all the people of the administrative bureau of the party.
Dr. Ako, do you have the impression that the CPDM is celebrating its achievements or celebrating the life of the President of the Republic?
Not to over-worry Cameroonians. Kedia would not tell us that we are celebrating achievement at the level of the CPDM. I will somewhere think that his brain might have been concocted and he might not be talking anything different from what the elderly people have been saying. If you listen from his speech, you realize that the speech is full of a lot of adjectives and description of a single person, and which means that added to the birthday of the president, which has become a national day, we have another national day, which is the CPDM day. And the CPDM day, again, you have to understand, these are strategies used by the ruling party to harness and make propaganda over their party. And it happens that today, again, 24th March is that day they thought, and they have been thinking that the CPDM will change to the CNU, and to keep on gathering members. You will imagine that in many forums, new members were recruited. So it is a forum where they recruit new lies tellers, they recruit new intimidators, they equally recruit new agents to subjugate and depress Cameroonians. I'm saying that if we are talking of any 38 years, it's 38 years of campaign on behalf of the CPDM. It's 38 years of glorifying what he said. He said a natural candidate. And we should know that when somebody becomes a natural candidate, it will mean after President Paul Biya, there is no political party again as the CPDM. Kedia even said that you cannot talk of the CPDM without talking about the father. And so it is preferable they continue mentioning Paul Biya throughout, and this is how their brains have been crookedly made. I will tell you that the CPDM party within themselves, they know that today is a day when taxpayers' money, which a lot of them had looted, are showing their grandeur at the level of the party, and you go there, those who sponsor the party the most are the highest criminal we have on the streets. And I will tell you that a lot of that budget is not declared anywhere. I said a party like the CPDM, let me come. We don't know how much budget.
But doctor, it is the court that declares who is criminal or not now.
No, I'm telling you now. I'm telling you that the fact that a political party carried out about 3 different programs within the year, and we don't even know how much budget the CPDM is running on, how much they have even spent today. Nobody is aware, and they give account to nobody. I believe as a state establishment or institution under the government, we are supposed to know how much the CPDM is having,
This
how much they run their...
This is a party.
Yes, likewise, individual. I'm telling
I
you.
will answer you about the source of our income. I will tell you the source of income of the CPDM. I will tell you.
Parastatal. All political parties are subjugated. You will not take money. Imagine the case of Survival Cameroon. You know the consequences that the government and the muscling that the government will Survival Cameroon and the survival funds. They rejected it. But today, the CPDM had millions and billions over elections. You have seen it with senators. The people were hosted in hotels and even given fruits and transport money to go back home. Where that finances are coming from, nobody knows. How much the CPDM contribute each year as its running budget, we are not aware. And even those who stand as party leaders and the budget they have as ministers or directors in public establishment is not justified. So I'm telling you that the celebration of the party is even one of the aspects of the failure of the CPDM. Because if really the CPDM has been working, the celebration of the party should be telling Cameroonians the achievement they have made. But I said, if you go follow on the news, if they don't call you one of the sons and daughters or the dependents, one of those people who muscled and even killed the spirit of multipartyism, which they thought, because he said President Popia is the grandeur, is the father of multipartyism, and brought that 350 political party mean 350 ideas, when a host of others are in prison who attempted to still express that very opinion and the idea. So at the time we are celebrating freely, others who equally wanted to pass an information freely have been arrested. I know you know the case of the MRC members and a lot of them who are still being held in prison. A lot of Cameroonians that were arrested in 2008, others are equally reported missing. Some people's families have not even seen them. In fact, people like Lapiro Dibanga died abroad and refused never to come to this country because they were what we call the high cost of living in 2008. To whose account has the CPDM amended this situation? What we complain of a liter of petrol or fuel in 2008 at 550, today is being sold at 600 and 700 francs. To what extent are we celebrating? The cost of living, I told many Cameroonians, economically, the head of state has failed because he knows very well that in 1982, President Popia was the prime minister of the nation, and how much Cameroonians could eat and lavish food. Cameroonians never had problems of food. I will tell you that 11 cups of gari were being sold for 100 francs and about 6 cups of rice for 200. And we need to ask back. A bag of flour was at 4.5 and 2.5. And I think a lot of them we cannot cite. A bag of sema was at 1.5. People will tell you that it's economic movement and that countries have changed. I equally remember that economic movement don't only affect Cameroon, they affect other nations of the world. A TV set that used to cost about 500,000 today is at 35,000 and everybody has access to it. And what is the problem with Cameroon? Rice which is coming from abroad, after statistics, that a bag of rice 50 kilograms sold in Thailand to Cameroonians at 8.5 finally got into our kitchens at 25,000 and whatsoever. What has been the problem? The problem is 38 years of giving a nation to a group of men, charlatans that are unable to rule, where people think that staying in power and supporting a political party is the wishes of the people. Why? It become a self-centered tendency that I am supporting because I wish to eat. And some people even said that it's only a mouth that it does not talk. And so those who are within the ruling party feel that there's no need to criticize. That is the same reason why the nation has become that of celebration. So we celebrate the head of state birthday, a national event. We celebrate the CPDM, equally a national event. I believe very soon we start celebrating family members of the head of state, their own birthdays, and even other small activities.
Okay, even other small activities. What could the CPDM be celebrating at 38 that Cameroonians who are not militants of the CPDM should see reasons in at least applauding what you guys are celebrating?
The most important thing I will just make here, my co-panelist calling member of government. I'm coming, I will answer. I'm going to what you're asking. My co-panelist called member of government charlatan, thieves, criminals. Dear fellow Cameroonian watching, 38 years today, we are celebrating freedom of speech, which is even being abused by people like Dr. Ako when they come on TV and they call people criminals, charlatan. Then what definition of freedom of speech should we give you people when you see it on this platform? How many countries can you go and call people criminal and you are not taken to court to defend? But that's liberalism. Mr. Kum Leonard, those one of the things that we celebrate today in Cameroon, freedom of speech. And everybody at home watching this program will actually see the manifestation of freedom of speech in Cameroon, where an individual called the administrators of a country charlatans, criminals. That is freedom of speech. I'll go further to say my co-panelists asked me as the source of income of the CPDM. Of course, we have more than 380 sections, and each section have about 25. The bureau is made up of 25 members. That is just for the section. Subsection, we have more than 2,000 in Cameroon, and those subsections have bureau members going at the level of the basic organs. You know the number we have, and at the level of the sales, those are the population of Cameroonians we have within the CPDM that pay their card monthly or annually, and then the source of income of the party is being gotten. We raise about 3 billion. You can check the fact, it is very clear. Those at home, you are free to go to the website of the party. You will see there about 3 million was raised during the internal election of the party.
You mean that
those are the money that people registered and paid for the running. It's legal, it's nothing that we are hiding. There is transparency, and the source can be gotten. If you like, you are not satisfied, you can go to Yaoundé, you visit the Secretary General of the party, and this information will be given you. Now, to go further again, to say, when we come here, we blame the CPDM that they have majority of the seat, they have this. Come on, CPDM is the only party that train a militant. We have an academy that will train the people, and when the people come out, they understand the desire of the masses. They are out to implement it, and the people definitely vote them. If you call them charlatan, then you are insulting all Cameroonians that have decided to vote them, because Cameroonians always vote for them. You know the history of the elections in Cameroon. When we talk about the just ended senatorial election, where we have about 11,000 voters, and among the 11,000, the CPDM had about 9,000 members of the electoral college. What were you expecting? Is but naturally that we win, because we suffered at the level of the grassroots politics to be able to do our campaign, so that these are militants can be councillors, these are militants can be mayors, these are militants can be members of the regional house, and then they make they go ahead with the indirect suffrage, because the senatorial election is indirect suffrage, and they won the election. So who do we blame? And the constitution,
I want just correcting. Do you know indirect suffrage is part of political hijacking or kidnapping?
The law of the republic says
you
so.
are meaning the law. Who voted the law?
The National Assembly, a multicolored National Assembly made up of more than 8 political parties sat together, accepted mutually that we should have universal suffrage and indirect universal suffrage. At the level of mayor is indirect, at the level of senators is indirect. So it is the constitution and not the CPDM. Us in the CPDM, we have our constitution of our party, and the Republic of Cameroon indeed is gotten her own constitution, which is embodied or guided by the electoral law that manage elections in Cameroon. And so us of the CPDM, we are just loyal citizens of the country, abiding citizens following the law of the country and the electoral code of the country to participate in our elections. And victory always has been ours, because the masses do have the confidence of our elected official, and of course the President of the Republic, President Paul Biya.
Okay, President.
I don't want, at times when we end certain things, it's good to correct Kedia. It is really sad. I said
it's your opinion, but I don't see why you say correct. You are not correcting me. Give your opinion.
It is very sad. We are here with you. It is not by magic for you to know that Cameroon has been rated more than 3 times the most corrupt country on earth. And you know how many countries are on earth. And those who manage the system for 38 years is your party. And do I need magic to know that they are criminals within the ranks? You want me to accuse SDF? He has never been in government. You want me to accuse whatever other PDP or whatsoever? They have never been in power. And so if Cameroonians are intact, the most corrupt nation on earth, what makes a nation corrupt? Is that people siphon a lot of funds. And those people are not of the other party. They are of the CPDM, KD. And if that is coming to you, which you are aware, Amnesty International, Transparency International, for human rights violations, we are talking of the killing of Wazizi. For the freedom which we are hailing, that you said I'm talking because of freedom, and you know very well How many have been killed? We are talking of Martinez Zogo for expressly taking his
Martinez Zogo was not killed by CPDM militant, and an investigation is going on. Please don't accuse. No, you should be able to distinguish between the system and the party.
Please stay down. You're unable to.
We have the party and we have the government. They are two different entities.
Uneasy lies the head that bears the crown. The CPDM has had a crown.
Yeah, but
the CPDM and the government are separate entities.
Please, are we talking about the CPDM or we are talking about the state?
I'm talking about the CPDM.
What is the government? Who is the government?
Yeah, but is it
the government is not the CPDM. We have many political parties that make up the government.
Who is the government? Do you know what they call the government?
Please.
Do you know the government?
Please.
Who's the head of the government?
Please, can we?
Who is the head of the government?
The head of the government is the Prime Minister, as the Constitution says.
And who is he? A member of the SDF? Is the Prime Minister a member of the SDF?
He has a right to belong to a political party.
Is he a member of the SDF?
For sure, yes, he is a proud member at that. But you will not say.
Just imagine that.
You will
not. The Prime Minister SDF?
No, the Prime Minister is CPDM.
That is what I'm saying.
What I am telling you is that the members of government are not CPDM.
Mr. Ketia,
the Prime Minister Joseph Yongute is a proud member of the CPDM.
The decision
don't say all members of government are CPDM. That is a false.
Please,
Mr. Ketia.
Momo is not of the CPDM. Isa Cheruma is a minister. He's not of the CPDM. We know many ministers that are not there of the CPDM.
Those who are in coalition.
Coalition does not make them militants of CPDM.
What does coalition
mean? People that buy the same ideology to work together does not necessarily make them members of the CPDM.
Okay. Kedia, just come on. Now, we are talking about 38 years. 38 years is a man who has turned to adulthood.
40.
Yes. 38 means that you are almost clocking 40.
40 kids.
Yeah. Is this not also a date that was supposed to be set aside by the CPDM itself to reflect on some of its shortcomings and look at how to retransform itself? Because we can imagine the pomp, the anxiety, the expectations that accompanied the birth of this party in Bamenda in 1985. And today, whether we like it or not, we are getting to 34 to 38, 40. Did you hold seminars, workshops for deep reflections, or it was just all about celebrating?
Of course, when it comes to seminars and workshops at the level of our party, is always headed by Professor Elvis Ngolengola, the head of the academy. We are talking about this ongoing period, this 38 years celebration. Now, you see, when we talk about celebration, it's not all about sitting, drinking beer and eating. No, it's a period in which people definitely are excited of their achievement. Of course, they look for their shortcomings to ensure that they stay in power, because that's the duty of any political power, to get power and to maintain it. We are at the level now in which we put all heads together to ensure that we maintain ourselves in power by taking care of the needs of the people, by taking care of the need of the masses, be it politically, economically and socially. And at the level of political, we know the various achievements that have been done in this country. At the level of social, we all know the achievement being done by the government.
Just cite some.
Okay, fine. I see. Say it. One.
No. Please. You guys are Doctor, please let me play my role. I ask a question, please. Is this not a period? Don't you think that this is a period for deep reflection? Your party was birthed on the foundations of what is known as rigor, moralization. The President of the Republic even wrote a book on communal liberalism. Wonderful concepts. If you go through that book, it paints a picture of managing a country that will take care of its people, where everybody will be in good health, living happily. And today, when you look at the Cameroonian society, you look through the streets of Douala, you look through the streets of Yaoundé, and you look at the vision that the founding father of this party had, don't you think it is time to actually take stock of what you guys wanted to achieve and where you have failed in not achieving them, and putting strategies to meeting the expectations, because they say better late than never.
Than never.
Yes, but
Yes,
you are just saying
at the level of our party, like any other party, you remember in all the speech of the president, almost all these past 38 years, about 35 times he has talked about the problem of unemployment, which really is a problem at the level of youth. Of course, corruption that my co-panelists talked about is also a problem. But at the level of our party now, what we are doing is to ensure that the youth participate more in decision making of the nation. We believe that if youth participate more in decision making of in the country, there will definitely be a progress. That's why some of us in the CPDM internally, we are revendicating that if the electoral age could be brought down so that even those of 18 years can vote. Those are the things we do have internally as a political party. Yes, we have our issues that we put on table. There is no house without a problem, of course. And when we have our problem, we sit as a political party, we look at the weaknesses, we look at how we can put effort to ensure that this party definitely grow very well. And that it is what is happening, education of the youth from our academy. And most importantly, which I always like us to talk about, because normally there is this perspective that when you want to talk about CPDM, the government will definitely come in and as cross-checking the achievement of the government and the achievement of the ruling CPDM party. They are two separate entities, two separate organizations that have their own main objective. As I earlier said, at the level of the CPDM, which is a political party, our main objective is how to maintain the power we have, and to maintain this power is to look about the wish of the people, politically, economically, and socially. And that is what the head of state is doing, head of government, they are doing, to ensure that the final solution is brought to the desire of the people. It is true that it could not be attained 100%, but we are working in a positive move to ensure that everything is going in order. At the level of our party, yes, we've seen many militants that have been suspended because of indiscipline. I can cite many of them, and the recent is Professor Musanga Nyamdi. That is to show that internally within the party there is what President Paul Biya wrote in his book, where he talked about rigor. And this is what we are doing. Indiscipline is not tolerated. That is the things we are doing within our party to ensure that the law of the party, because the party has gotten a constitution that is supposed to be respected. Those are the things we are doing at the level of the party. And when it concerns elections, for instance, we have to do with investiture, like the Senate that took place. That is what the party does. They look at the morality of the people. They look at the achievement of the people. They look at the love their citizens have for them before they can institute them to go in for the electoral position. That is what the party does. The screening at the level of the division, the screening at the level of the region, and the screening at the level of the central committee to ensure that the best candidate are being put to the presence of Cameroonians, people that have morality, that will lead Cameroonians together. That is what we are doing within our party. And I can say to you 100% that at the level of the academy, we are succeeding very well to train. I keep on talking about the academy because the most important thing is to train future leaders. The most important is to train militants to know what is right from what is wrong, because that is the will of the president of the party. So at the level of our party, the academic is going on well. The people are being transformed. They are understanding the plight of the people and the plight of the party, and how to manage the two for the maintenance of the party in power. So those are the successes at the level of the political party we can talk about. If today Mr. Kum Leonard, after 35 years, we have the majority of the Senate, majority of the regional house, majority of councillors, then the party is succeeding. We could give it at the level of 95% of its success, and we have less at about 5%, which we are managing to ensure that we, of course, in all coming election, we have 100%. The party is doing it very well. If someone thinks that the party is not doing very well, then the person is misunderstanding what is actually going on, or is ignorant. Because if the masses are the one voting, and we have been there for 38 years, then the judgment of the masses is positive. And if someone thinks that the judgment is negative, then let that person create a political party and get the supporter of those they claim that are decrying this present situation to vote them. Let them bring the change.
They should bring the change. Now, 38 years, that is age of maturity. Yes. is this also the time for the CPDM to do an auto-critique of what they have been able to deliver so far to Cameroonians?
It will be very difficult. It will be very difficult. You said, journalists said that Rome was not constructed in a day. And if Rome has been constructed, it's based on critique of the opponents. That's why you find in a government like that of the United Kingdom, where the government even sponsored the opposition bureau, or what they call the shadow cabinet. And you find it in Cameroon instead, that whenever you criticize, you are instead looked upon as an enemy. You are being muscled and others being thrown into prison. I remember very well when Nijon Funde was proclaimed himself winner of the 1992 presidential election. He had more than 6 months of house arrest. And of recent again, we find the same character when Kamto said he has scored his penalty. He equally had a series of house arrests, and his members, some are still today in prison. If it was in a sincere nation, it is but possible that the CPDM, even at 38, should apologize to Cameroonians, and that the path they came in, they never knew that such a path was going to be rocky, and rocky in the sense that they have failed to adapt to the realities of the time. I want us all here, and even KD, accept that in 1982, there was no fighting or gun anywhere in Cameroon, and that today it is common to see people assassinate one another, and even others taking knives against others. Children and students taking knives and other weapons in school, slapping principals and even beating their own mate to death. A lot of those things that were not happening 38 years ago. Like you rightly said, the last question you asked him, for 38 years, can we think what we have done and what we have not done? Can we think that in the next 5 years, what we should do? I will tell you that President Pobia and the CPDM party have succeeded in one thing, maintaining power for this 41 years, and it is the highest victory they have had, and that's why they will tell you that they continue winning. It is normal that they should equally think that have they really won? Have they really been winning, if not a fraud and a machine system that has been concocted to suit their opinion? When you look at the members of Elekam, Kedia will tell me that 9 of those members are of strong former political bureau of the CPDM, and they have the referees, they have the linesmen, they have the system. You have the Minister of Territorial Administration, which elections are organized and monitored by him. And you ask such a person, he who appoints obviously will control. When you get to the Senate, where Kedia is, for 38 years of political existence, that the Senate, the appointed member of the senators were all appointed as in fact voted. They will tell you that after being appointed by the head of state, he was again elected in the Senate as the president of that Senate. What politics and what result do you come from a one-party show? At the other side, you find the president, head of government, head of supreme magistracy, head of the armed forces, and you find ministers, others acting in a similar capacity in their various regions as chief of politics. Once you are a minister of the state, paid from state budget, you represent a political party and ideology. To what extent are the citizens of that region, of that division, of that municipality or locality free if they don't vote for you? We have seen several others being intimidated and being chased out from the villages because they did not support a particular minister or senatorial idea. We have learned of such ideas in places like Baham, where people oppose the government directly. A lot of that has been happening every day. 38 years after of instrumentalization of certain Cameroonians against others and causing what I call state program hunger, that those who are hungry will come on to join the party. And that is exactly the regions who voted for the CPDM will have more life in terms of development, and those that never voted the ruling party, development will not follow them. And these are the principles under which governance is done. When you have voted the head of state, when the party comes in power, it is a party for all Cameroonians. The constitution is clear that any individual of government representing his party becomes a member to answerable to all Cameroonians. And it will give you a reason. Some people will tell you your region is not developing because of this and all the like, and at the end of the day, what happened? People's brain is psychologically concocted and twisted for them to follow the ruling party. 38 years after, the military, which is considered to serve the interests of the whole nation, many will tell you that the Cameroonian military today supports and functions under the state machinery and again being pushed over by the ruling party. that the military today has become an opposition party against and suppression of its own very people. Several times Cameroonians have been killed, accounts have not been given. This is not what goes on in other democratic...
Are we talking about the CPDM or the military?
We are talking of the CPDM. This is management of the CPDM. Okay. When we rule a government...
The military is putting...
I said today, today, the military is unable to give account to Cameroonians because others come from a particular quarters. We are just talking of the situation of Martinez Zogo. You know who holds the case today, and you know to what extent we have gone. We are talking of the situation in Ekona, and we are talking of the university students that were dragged and killed in Boya. We have not had a statement. In a state Republican spirit, if the military or the police were independent, we would have had an update. But that information must come from high instruction. You know how high instruction functions here. If you are not sent, you don't talk. If you are not asked to talk, you don't speak. When such a system is ruled by anarchy and dictatorship, how do you progress?
You say university students were killed?
Yeah, they said some 2 universities. One was killed and one is missing. We had the case.
One is not missing. He's in the military base. No, investigation are going on. No, we should not mislead Cameroonians.
Please, I said one is missing.
And we should be careful when we call them.
I said one.
If somebody carry out a barbaric act, we should not give them the title of university student when we don't know what they are doing outside there.
University student.
I just want to clear that point.
They were not university students. You speak to Cameroonians because you have a better information.
Can we stay?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. When I'm talking, I know the account. A nation is responsible towards its people when you are ruled or you are voted as a political party. That's what I'm saying. You represent the people and not the party again. And when we stay quiet, because talking will discredit our party, and that if I don't talk, I will be praised. If I talk, I will be sanctioned. Remember, we have what they call party discipline at the level of the CPDM. And so those who go against the discipline, he said it here, that the highest arm that CPDM has used is to discipline some people. And he called the name Professor Mesangan Yamdi. I want to think that at the level of the CPDM, we need to see how many people are in Kondengi that they were nominated as ministers and went and disgraced the party by stealing state funds. But now we have different situations which gives rise to that. And a lot, you tell me to, are those who oppose the system that have been arrested several times and sent to the corridors of Konde. We are talking of state infrastructure. We are talking of the Olembe Stadium that was supposed to host the African Cup of Nations. You are aware. And up to today, who was at the head of that commission is a member of the CPDM. The management and the supervision of works at Olembe is about your party. And today, they have been unable to finish that job. Should we accuse another person? Otoru Douala Yaoundé, it is 10 years gone. We are still expecting. And a lot of that. The fact is, I was told by somewhere, the brutal leader of Africa, you can imagine, they call him Ediami Dada. He said the freedom of expression is what he knows. But freedom after expression is what he does not know. And you know what has happened to a lot of people. Okay. We can give the people and allow them to talk. And if decision, I was taught again by Professor Pondu, that when the people speak and nothing changes, then there is no need for freedom of expression. Okay. If we have to live as Cameroonians and we are talking, then we should see adequate changes. If we have complained that there is no school or there is a school, there are no benches, government should respond by simply providing benches. And this is what we call government by action, and government, not government by procrastination.
Are we talking about government?
I said the CPDM today has reduced the Cameroon state to the CPDM government. There's no decision. He knows the CPDM headquarters is at national, what they call the conference center in Yaoundé. It is a state structure, and that is what holds the headquarters.
No.
Please, don't say.
It's on the party opposite the lake. It is not a conference center.
You mean the headquarters secretariat of the CPDM?
It is not at the conference hall. How can you say it is at the conference hall? Oh, no.
It's somewhere around where?
No, how can you say that?
Please, I believe you don't know the secretariat of the CPDM.
I do know.
Where is it?
The seat where the Secretary General is opposite the lake around the.
And what do we find at the National Congress Center?
Is the bureau of the Secretary General at the conference center? How can you even say this in public?
Should we get there?
Are you saying that the office of Jankwete is at the congress hall? No, how can you come and say such a thing to our lovely Cameroonians? No. You are misleading the masses.
Please, I'm telling you that if you don't know, ask again.
No. What
was the CPDM at the Congress Center in Yaoundé?
Every political party is free to have its meeting at the Congress Center. They have a permission and it's having. I'll tell you that the office of Jankwete
around the lake there.
I said they have what they call Maison du Parti, and even in some headquarters,
Maison du Parti is around the lake.
The secretariat of the CPDM is a former police office. Go around and check.
I am saying that.
I said if you don't know, go around and check.
The office of the CPDM is found at.
Please, let us let's come back to our discussion. We are talking about celebrating the 38th anniversary of the CPDM. What a balance sheet. But some party leaders also have tainted the image of this party within this span of its existence, because we have high-profile militants who were also ministers who are in prison, actually putting to doubt this so much talked about good governance, working for the people, and all the good things the CPDM has had and promised the people. Many are also found wanting, engaged, and caught in corrupt practices.
For sure, you are correct with that. We've seen one or two cases. But what I want to tell Cameroonian is that appointment of a minister is based with criteria: 1, your academic criteria; 2, your judicial criteria, if you've not been in prison, even at the level of concours and the rest, what the Frenchman call casier judiciaire. Non-conviction in English, the certificate. It shows that you've, 1, your academic; 2, non-conviction; 3, your experience. These are the 3 criteria that the President of the Republic take into consideration to appoint a minister. Now, if you have a good experience, 2, you've never been sentenced by any court of law, and if you are appointed and you decide to embezzle, no one is responsible for your act, because the process of appointment has been seen. We should know that if you, it is always said, if your judicial background is being checked and you are okay, you are appointed, and at the end you decide to commit a crime, but nobody is responsible for your crime. And we should be honest when we are analyzing this. We don't know of any ex-convict that have been sentenced by any court in Cameroon that have been appointed as minister by the President of the Republic. No, he always checked their judicial background to ensure that they have not been sentenced by any magistrate. And if my co-panelists have any minister that have been sentenced by any magistrate, they should be able to call a name so that we can handle this. And permit me, Mr. Kum Leonard, to tell the Cameroonian people the truth. The house of the party central committee is found around the lake, just beneath the Ministry of Secondary Education. That is the seat where the Secretary General of the party is found, Mr. Jean Kwete. That is where the head of the academy is found, managed by the head of the academy, the CPDM academy, handled by Professor Evis Ngole, and also the sub-president of communication, which is also my mentor, that I'm here due to his high instruction, Professor Charles Boyomo. That is where we have our meeting. That is the seat of the party. So, dear Cameroonian, we should not be misled that the CPDM is using the Congress Hall for as their seat. This is misleading. My co-panelist said a lot of things which at times I myself I get confused. He talked about opposition being locked up in a house in prison, being kept under house arrest. Of course, I have not seen any judicial document that says that Maurice Kamto was locked up under house of arrest. If he knows why, he should call the name of the magistrate that signed the house arrest and his name, then I'll be okay. But if he does not have the name of the magistrate that signed his house arrest, then he should definitely turn to all Cameroonians watching us now to apologize to them for misleading them. He also talked about Elekam, but for crying out loud, members of Elekam and in all other countries have been appointed by the president. It could go through the assembly, but it is being signed by the president. The president of INEC in Nigeria but was appointed by Goodluck Jonathan, but he was failed to manage his election, and even the Goodluck Jonathan was defeated and he left and Buhari came over. That does not change the fact that he was appointed by Goodluck Jonathan. So if in Cameroon the head of Elekam is being appointed by the President of the Republic, he is being appointed, he took an oath to serve the Cameroonian people. So we should not say that he is there to serve but the person that appointed him. We should wash away this mentality from the brain of our Cameroonian people, because people that keep reminding them, of course they have a hidden agenda to manipulate the brain of our people, which is definitely not true. We should be realistic. My co-panelists simply talked about those that have been in prison because they were marching. Of course, it is your fundamental human right, inalienable, to walk and demonstrate. But you should ensure that your demonstration that you are doing should not affect the human right of another person. When you decide that you want to go and have a walk at Ndokoti, the most crowded runabout in Douala, when you know that there are pregnant women, they're going to the hospital, when you know that there are children going to school, which is their fundamental human right, and you decide that that is where you want to go and do your own work, demonstrate, where you know you perpetuate their own activities, that is violating another person's fundamental right, and you will be called to justice. So when we talk about human right, we should ensure that we know that when we talk of human right, we should respect the other. I have that liberty here to speak, but if I insult you, yes, I have spoken, I have the right to talk. But if what I've said or insult I've given you violates your own right, you have the right to take me to court. So we should not confuse Cameroonian with all these things. What is important is that at this level, us of the CPDM, we are doing what we have to do. We are hearing the plea of the people. We are collaborating with the people. That's why we have the trust of the people, and that's why we are still in power, because the people understand us and we work in collaboration. Let all these political parties you are talking collaborate with the masses, and when they collaborate with the masses, definitely they will be victorious. Are you telling me that the masses who will not be able, if they come out to vote or they are supporting the opposition, and what will Elecam do to stop them? We know the electoral procedures. We know that in any ballot center, they are representative of all political parties. At the level of the subdivision, they are representative of all political parties to ensure that their votes have not been stolen. And we know that at the level of the divisions, they are representative of all political parties. So why do you come and you blame the CPDM? CPDM is the only political party that in more than 2,500 polling stations we have representative in all. But no political party in Cameroon has representative in all these polling stations. Okay. How then do you blame the CPDM? And finally, Mr. Kum Leonard, we should be honest before God and before man. An election of Senate with 11,000 electors. CPDM have 9,100 of electors. And when they win the election, we say it's not free and fair. This is a shame.
Special greetings and anniversary celebrations to you, Dr. Mboahana Etonde, who is, I'm sure, led the women of the FACO 3 section, RW section out there in Boya FACO division. It's been long, actually. I followed you to those campaigns, sensitization workshops with the women out there in Boya. But this one, let me take this message that says, Mr. Liu, greetings to you. I love today's topic. Please, we shouldn't tell lies. We should tell Cameroonians the truth. The secretariat is found at around the lake and nowhere where Doctor is saying. So this is an official of the party who is making that correction, who says that what Keja is saying is the truth. Good evening. Please caution your guest to tell the public the truth and not to mislead the public. The CPDM secretariat is not at the Congress Center. It is by the lake around the ministries, like he said, not far from the Ministry of Secondary Education. Mr. Henry Zong and Mr. Tu Simon Nzi watching us from Isu out there in Fungam South Division, Menchum Division. A special good evening to you guys. But now, why do we have the impression, Dr. Akko, that anytime we talk the CPDM, it is only bashing? Are we saying that for 38 years, there is nothing worth celebrating about this party?
Not really. It might be funny to maybe think in that light.
Okay.
I just said here that one of the greatest victory of the CPDM is maintaining in power for 38 years.
Okay.
Strategically, they have managed themselves. And I was happy when Kedia made a statement that they are the lone party present in all polling stations all over Cameroon. Mm-hmm. And that is why I take it back to him. Is he aware that the CPDM is not distinguished from the government? He comes to answer my question that it is because the CPDM keep on using government institutions as their institutions. And so wherever there is a government institution, there is a CPDM representative. And that wherever there is government budgeting, there is CPDM budgeting. So all SDOs, DOs, municipal councillors or whatsoever represents the party even when the party does not exist there. And that the DO will stand. And that's why we keep polling stations at the end of the voting.
Yeah,
it is one of the people who guarantee the security of elections in that area.
Yeah, but the divisional officer at the level of the subdivision represents the head of state and not necessarily the CPDM at that level has a subsection president or a section president, and the SDO also represents the head
Mr.
of state.
What I'm saying, you are right with your analysis. I said you are right with it. And the fact that we cannot distinguish the CPDM from the government made this possible.
Yeah,
we don't have.
But there is a DO and there is a subsection and a section president.
And what I'm telling you is that most often than not, wherever there's a government infrastructure, there is CPDM.
Okay.
And this, you can't deny it. Whenever you can have a coat which have the SDO uniform, but the animal in the uniform is a CPDM militant, that Kedia will not deny it. I have not seen an SDO or a governor that has come out publicly to tell you that he is not of the CPDM. And it is based on that lineage. It is even based on that lineage that a series of them are even appointed. And we cannot deny it. Somewhere again, I will insist that Kedia should know that when you appoint a referee, that is why referees are said to be impartial, it should not be appointed by any of the officials or the teams participating in the game. But when you appoint the referee, there is the direct moral influence that the results might not be the witches of the game, but the witch of that particular referee. So those members of ELECAM, go and ask them still. When they meet, they still meet and discuss issues as CPDM members and not as Cameroonian ELECAM members. Within the state, the CPDM has succeeded in creating a lot of schools. To answer your question, now we are proudly having 10 government universities in the 10 regions. They took in 1982 a single university based in Yaoundé with a lot of other schools, higher learning around. But then the quality of these schools remain a question to answer. The CPDM party has equally, with its government, created a lot of hospitals. But the deficiency, inefficiency in it is what results that even the head of state and other members of government still benefit from health assistance to travel abroad for medical assistance. That is 38 years of the same party, and that you, as an individual, have been unable to consult in the country. We are proud of the multiplicity of health centers, reference centers, how can I call districts and all the like, but are we proud to be consulted and receive equal services like any other citizen abroad? That we cannot equally answer. Agriculture, people will tell you, of recent, it has been included as a subject of study in many universities. Agriculture was a proud domain. It is a lone domain. Cameroonians were proud. Indians, Russians, Chinese, Israelites came to Cameroon to receive technical advice from the CDC on how to even grow palm nuts. I can remember the Vietnamese and the Indonesians came to Cameroon. Today they are the world producers of red oil. Cameroon has a present crisis of red oil, but there is freedom for all Cameroonians. The head of state has been calling that all Cameroonians to go back to the farms. We find thousands of machineries and tractors guided and being walloped in one forest in the south. We are still thinking if that is the agriculture we wish to have. 38 years after, we have moved from about 24 ministries to about 64 of them. It is an applauded case. We have expanded the government. Have we equally avoided stealing? It is at the same time Cameroonians are crying of the highest form of theft of all kind within government offices. Is that what celebrating? When we create, we should be capable of taking care. The government is a system of check and balances. When we created the Senate, Cameroonians were thinking it's going to rejuvenate the political environment of Cameroon. Yes, the president met one National Assembly. It was accepted. But today, what do you find? Where the two assemblies created, the Senate and the parliamentary flat, today are being governed multiply at 90% by the same party. Is there a need when you control both houses? Is it not just what we call an open political scam to compensate members of your party that might have not had the possibility of having the post or position in the other organ. This is what the CPDM might have been celebrating. Others might still waiting to be appointed as senators. One in its kind throughout the world I have never seen were senators. Members of parliaments are appointed by the President of the Republic. Where then is the independence of the legislative? It is called to question, are such institutions to serve Cameroonians, or are they to serve the individual that created and appointed them? That is equally at times to agree or not to agree by not reappointing you. Reappointment means renewal of confidence.
Okay. Yeah.
Can we be proud that these two assemblies today, 38 years after, represented aspiration of Cameroonians? Mr. Leo, there are a lot of worries. We have something to celebrate, but in all what we have created for 38 years, the government is still limping and leaning. We are not proud of being the the powerhouse within the continent in which we are. Cameroonians are disrespected and downgraded as the least when it comes to international politics.
Are you downgraded? Are you not respected across Africa?
We are respected.
Are you not a Cameroonian?
I'm just telling you, we are just talking of the situation in Tunisia. We are talking of what happened in Turkey. I'm a Cameroonian that feels for others.
Apostle Ambe, since Apostle Ambe is passing here, I see him being solicited across Africa.
No, I said we are solicited. We are talking about the level of international community.
Yeah, but
what space? What space do Cameroonians? You know what happened with Leader Inoncho? A Cameroonian, highly respected abroad, downgraded and smashed over in Cameroon. There are a lot of things.
Yeah, but is she not respected out of the country?
That is, people look at that level as an international agent in another country. He's not serving Cameroon.
Okay.
Those are the things I want us to know. Can we call a minister like that in Ethiopia, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for his gesture of bringing Eritrea and Ethiopia together? When we have a crisis here, those who are of the other camp think that we cannot talk, and there's no need to talk.
Barrister Tumfo, Barrister Nico Hale was solicited in the days of Mugabe and Changirai. He's the one who actually solved the problem.
You're talking at the time. I said 38 years after.
There are many
Zimbabwe,
Cameroonians.
please. Yes, but now we are celebrating 38 years, and next year certainly there's going to be celebration for 39 and possibly the 40th. That will be in 2025. Yes, what should Cameroonians be looking forward to or expecting differently from the CPDM party, so as to give the impression that, okay, the CPDM will be moving them away from where they currently are, or they are going to stay true to the current course and only deliver and provide what they have done so far?
Firstly, the main objective now of the party, as we carry on our sensitization, is to make the youth, which are indeed the obese majority of the voting age of Cameroon, to participate in the internal politics of the CPDM, because we realize that many youths are political, or they don't have interest in politics, not knowing that politics, of course, define the economic and the social policies of the country. So the main objective now is to ensure that we bring in more youth into the party to work together in the academy and how we'll progress. I was so excited and very happy when my co-panelists sang songs of praises of the achievement of the president. The first he talked about is education. The second he talked about is the president ensuring that Cameroonians are having good health. And the third he talked about is agriculture, when the president ensured that his people should have something to eat. Then what else again should we criticize about this greater achievement which you've listed? What could be important if not the health of Cameroonian people? What could be important if he does not educate his people? What could be much more important if he does not encourage agriculture, which you praise, so that his people can have what to eat? Then we should thank the president of the republic. After saying this, our next achievement also within the party is to ensure that we have more women and more youth at the level of the assembly, you realize that we've had a progress in our National Assembly as we move from 18 to 25% to 35%, and now we are around 40% of women at the assembly. So the main objective now of the CPDM is to give room for the youth in the party and women in the party. Why does the head of state, the president of the chairman of the CPDM, President Paul Biya, always insists about women? Because women are majority of the electors of Cameroon. If they tell you that 3 million Cameroonians are voting, I bet you that you have more than 2 million that are women. And so the president wants women to participate because he believes that a mother taking a decision within the party or within the state is taking a decision as a mother and for the children, because the decision a mother will take is for the benefit of the children and not personal interest. That is why the head of state needs much more women in electoral position and more youth in electoral position, so that they can talk with their peers, know what is happening in the country, so that we can proceed. So at this level of the party now, we are looking about how we can have more youth and more women, and secondly, how we can educate them with our academy so that they come join the team, so that we maintain ourselves in power while doing the wish of the Cameroonian people.
Okay, while doing the wish of the Cameroonian people, I'm going to take some messages, so many of them, but Dr. Ako, what would you expect the CPDM to be doing in the next year? Because next year they're going to be celebrating, and the other year we're still going to be celebrating.
Yeah, it is but normal, Mr. Leo. May I be, as a civil society actor, the CPDM should set its roadmap. Okay. If we are celebrating one year and another, they should tell Cameroonians what they celebrated last year and what they are celebrating this year. If the celebration is meant to put music of long live the king, he reigns forever, it becomes a normal and ordinary song, and it becomes a mere political slogan. The party equally we are under, we are still to see the CPDM manifesto, because there should be a need for a party evaluation. What Cameroonians are saying, what have we done? Have we stopped arresting our opposition leaders? Have we stopped the haphazard killing? Can we talk to Cameroonians?
Yeah, but is it the CPDM doing the arrest?
My brother, I'm telling you that it is their government.
Okay.
They are voted in power and they appointed their government. They are evaluated within the government. Donald Trump came to power. It is because of their government style that they were voted out. They were not voted out as Donald Trump. They voted them out, and the whole government went out.
But if please, but the police officers that served Donald Trump are the same who are serving.
That is an advanced democracy.
Yeah, but
that can say that in our system.
What I'm trying to say is that if the CRM or the SDF takes power tomorrow, they're still going to use the same police and military.
But not the type of police that arrest people while holding a meeting in a private residence.
Are they going to create?
If a police should attack a gathering in a private residence of individuals in their homes, it is a violation of human rights. Such police officers should be arrested and judged accordingly, according to the rules of law. But if that is not done, nothing gets you informed, then we are in support of such a system. So this is what we are saying. In the next year, it will not be too late for the CPDM to break the silence of certain confusion of the dialogue, which is highly and mostly talked. If we are celebrating 39 years, same time next year, I will be very proud and happy that the CPDM and its government take the bull by the horns in initiating sincere and honest dialogue with the problems in the Northwest and the Southwest. That notwithstanding, what of political, how can I call, presidential amnesty to all those who are even arrested, even political leaders, in case of any crisis before and after elections, and even the Northwest and the Southwest, to make the nation peaceful. The CPDM should equally remember this, that in 1982, President Paul Biya was celebrated when he was inaugurated as the president, the second president of the Republic. is this same the case 38 years after? If not, what should they do to win the minds of Cameroonians? 39 years after, he knows where he came from, he knows what he is having now, and should equally be thinking of what they are seeing tomorrow. Cameroonians, we need to eat well. The cost of life. I pity a lot of mothers going to the markets every day. You might not feel it if you live in a glass house, but I mean the common man. An average government works for the interest of the less privileged. In Cameroon, it is the opposite. I was very happy that 38 years ago, we could feed a family with 500 francs. Today, mothers cry even when a 10,000 francs is given because they cannot feed a home. What can we do to reduce the high cost of living? Look at the Smith just published. 41,000 francs as salary. Sincerely, are we talking to Cameroonians?
You are not talking about the 60,000. You are talking about the
40,000. Why not talk about the 60,000?
60,000, it is still a fallacy.
Why do you debunk 60,000 to talk about 41,000? What agenda do you have?
That person earning 41,000 is still a Cameroonian. Just have it in mind.
But you're giving the impression that is.
I said
you didn't make them to know that.
I am telling you that you are a Cameroonian, I live in Douala. You obviously are living under rentage, and you know how much we pay a single room, and take somebody earning the 60,000, paying a room, taking feeding, health, transportation, and all the like. Why do we make a propaganda that does not hold? These are aspects that encourages corruption and bribe. When a worker is well paid, he jealously renders his services. It is said in labor law that when labor is motivated, the quality and quantity of labor increases. In Cameroon, companies will complain of corporate theft on daily basis until salaries are adjusted. And the government remains, including the rules of the state, to maintain. If you are not capable of managing a particular company and then you cannot accept the standards set by the government, you don't open the company. The government is the watchdog under this. 38 years next year, we'll be very proud that what the government has just done is lack of courage and confidence in what they can do. Okay. Why can't we set the
I want us
within the next 38, 1 year plus next year, let us stop the chanting of the chorus and let's give Cameroonians the evidence of what they have done.
Okay, let us look at some pictures of what happened out there in Buea, Southwest Regional Capital, as celebrations were ongoing. We saw some persons who were recognized today by the youth of the CPDM party. There we see the Minister of Secondary Education, who I'm sure chaired the activities out there at the Bongo Square. There we have Dr. Hanambwa Etonde, who is the Southwest Regional Delegate for Secondary Education. She received this from the youth of the CPDM party. Yes, that's a picture that was handed to her. She used to be the president of WCPDM president for Faku 3 section out there in Buea. That is Senator Mbela Muki Charles, also was honored today by the youth of the CPDM party. And there we have the governor of the Southwest region, Bernard Okalia Bilai, who today was also recognized out there. Yes, those are some pictures that came in from Buea, Southwest Regional Capital. Yes, you want the youth to take over the CPDM, whether we like it or not. Also, we have those that are at the helm. They are really aged. We look at the age of the national president, you look at the Senate president, the president of the National Assembly, the Secretary General himself. How prepared are the youth to ensure continuity in the party?
As I earlier said, the agenda of the party is to ensure that we have more youth and more women, because they make up majority of the electoral body of Cameroon.
You are looking at the youth and women to vote this very.
We want them to.
We are talking about the youth
internally.
We are talking about you guys holding leadership positions in within the party structures.
That's why I'm explaining to you that within the party, we have the various wings. We have the youth wings. We have the women wings. Now, you don't expect an old person to come and be a president of the youth wing. So the youth are there, they are president of their wing. Now we can go in within the bureau. And now within the bureau, it shows that if the president is this, the vice should be a youth or a woman. It is rotated naturally like that. That makes youths automatically to have their position in the bureau.
Okay.
Those are the aspects, and that is what it is being done. I was talking without even knowing how active and vibrant the youth of Boya came out today, and we have all seen the position of the youth. Did we see any did we see an age man there doing? No. The age people are there, yes. They give us the wisdom, and us the young one will manifest it out like the way the youth of Boya did, manifesting out what they have, and that is how the party is growing. I know many people were expecting that they will see but people in their 40s, they will see people in their 30s, but we saw people in their early 20s working together for the party, celebrating the party. And that is what we are doing now, to ensure that the youth understand that all those that were telling them that the CPDM is made up of aged people were deceiving them, were discouraging them from participating in politics. And now they are seeing their peers in Boya active vibrantly and even appreciating some authorities. That is what we want in the party, meaning that they have seen those authorities as their role model, and they are within the CPDM to be guarded, to be formed, so that they will be able to be like them. And that is what we promote within the party. We promote the president of the republic, promote education, as my co-panelist says, within the state level and within the academy in the party level. And those are the things we appreciate, and the role the youth are playing within the party. And this, I rest assure all Cameroonian youth that as these youth are like this in the party, that is how it will be extended within the government. And no Cameroonian will be surprised tomorrow, Mr. Kum, to see that the Minister of Youth is, of course, a youth in his 20s.
Okay, a youth in his 20s. We have 2 more minutes to go. Dr. John Ako, one last word for the young people, and if the CPDM is celebrating 38 years in power, are we not also saying the failure of the opposition? Oh, you want to make believe that, okay, the CPDM is too strong to have been able to sail through winning all the elections. We saw the results of senatorials that were made public yesterday by the Constitutional Council, where the CPDM swept all 70 seats.
Yeah, when you talk that the CPDM is too strong, you see, Kedia smiled. It's one of the adage that they won from their strength and their strategy. When you intimidate and you appoint all members of your government, even in positions that are supposed to be what we call state positions, what do you think of the opposition? Just today, you look around, you find a lot of people have left other parties to join the CPDM. And that indicates that the CPDM recruits hungry, egoistic Cameroonians to make them, give them the mind. And so when you live in such a state, intimidation, hunger, unemployment, I am happy Kedia mentioned the youths. And with the photos you have just given to us here, it tells us how smart the CPDM is. And several times they accuse other opposition using the youths as agents of propaganda. When you see those gifts that have been made by the youths, I was intending and looking quietly to see one youth that has received a similar decoration for working within the CPDM. All those who receive them are top, old, outdated, obsolete brain within the party. Why can't we equally think that the youth should be awarded?
You mean Senator Mbelamuki Charles is obsolete?
I don't. You can get other statistics. I have some people who are exceptions, but you know the party very well. No, Mr. Lee, I don't. No. You have one example. I said you have one example.
The minister,
please.
Education, and my former vice chancellor is.
Please, Mr. Kedia, I have said I'm still to see a youth that have received a similar decoration from the same Boya people or Boya youths. Get me that. So if there is one youth there, you cite me that. Now within it, we are thinking that in the next Cameroon, the Cameroon we are going to build, every Cameroonian will have access to political power. It is not by seniority that opinions and nations are built. Nations are built by determination and those who can build, those who can have the vision for the nation. You go to the United States, for you to be a general manager of a company does not mean how many years you were in the company. It's how innovative you are in the company. And that's the same thing in politics. But when you go Kedia telling us that the CPDM party lives on the one that if the big man is from the men CPDM, then the Y CPDM will wait and be vice. So youths are made in the system of
I did not say that.
Please.
I said if the youth is president, the woman will be vice and vice versa. I did not say only the youth are vice. Please stop the defamation. I will not accept any defamation.
Kedia, I am waiting that the next CPDM revolution, because we are going to remake the CPDM.
Okay.
Because even some of us, that party, if it is revolved around certain ideologies, we may become members of that same party.
Okay.
But for now, we need a lot of innovation. Let's accept creativity, not by age, but by competence.
Okay.
Cameroon, the state of Singapore, move on meritocracy, not mediocrity.
We find a lot never been by age.
I said we find a lot of mediocrates. I said we find a lot of mediocrates.
Okay.
At the level of the CPDM, and that's why the nation Cameroon is lagging.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ako, and you, Kedia, for coming. Special greetings to you out there, Grace Happy, who should be watching us in Yaoundé. We wish you also a happy celebration and all the militants of the CPDM party out there. What is it you want to wish?
I just want to take this opportunity. You know, the result was very victorious. And at the level of Ngokutunja Bamising, where I come from, we are celebrating Carl Moses Mbofu, who is now the new senator that comes from Ngokutunja. So you see, we are celebrating our 38 years and the victory of our senator. The same as the people of Momo are celebrating Ewane Francis Abbey. So you see that it is double celebration at the level of the CPDM. Our 100% victory and of course our 38 years celebration.
Okay, thank you too, Doctor.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine always when we have to be with Cameroon. I said the next Cameroon will be based on meritocracy and not mediocrity.
Thank you all for watching, and we say thank you to you, Desmond and Eli, for producing across the week. Tabit and Brian for supervision. Let's celebrate moderately. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.